G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Look, it's overcast out the front here today and they say 12 to 21 degrees, so the cloud cover's making the bottom end a little bit warmer. Out west over the weekend they had 2 degrees and a couple of frosts and things like that, so they say there's 5% chance of a shower today in Bundaberg, so oh look, perhaps we might get something and perhaps we might not, but it looks like a little bit of overcast coming up for the week. Before I started the stew here, I jumped onto the Bureau of Meteorology website and they said perhaps Friday, 80% chance of good rain this Friday. So we'll see. The further away that is, the worse they are at predicting it. So yeah, look, it's just, we'll see. We certainly could do with a bit of rain. We had my young bloke Tim's 30th birthday party here on the weekend, and we had some family friends over from Mergen, and they were saying that it was nice to come over and actually see some green in the paddocks. They're still very dry out there, so, and our paddocks aren't as green as they could be. They've sort of browned off a little bit, so with the dry weather. So look, we had 19 mil or 3/4 of an inch back in must have been 2 weeks ago now, I suppose, so that's put a little bit of green, but it is drying out. We haven't had the dams full this year at all again, so and talking to the people from out west, well, they're saying, well, yeah, it's just brown and shitty out there. So anyway, hopefully there's a couple of lows down the bottom of Australia coming across the bottom this week. But look, I don't know, they might bring something with them. I reckon they're too low for Queensland, but we'll see. Hey, can't do anything about it, but it's just interesting to watch the weather sometimes. On Friday, I had a tooth knocked out, bit out. Look, we're just buggering around Friday night drinking, and I had my nephew here and my young bloke Tim, and it was just a big family weekend. It was just a cracker. And yeah, Friday nephew Ray come across from Banana, and which is it's 4.5 hours drive from here, and yeah, Tim, my young bloke, they're cousins of course, and yeah, we're out the shed having a drink, and then the rest of the family come round for dinner sort of thing, and yeah, we'd had dinner and I was just buggering around and there was a bit of pizza left, and they said, oh, you want? And I'll bloody eat it just so it wasn't there. And as soft as anything, like it wasn't crunchy, wasn't hard or anything, and I just bit into it and my tooth broke off. Front here, so shit box thing. And so it's not my original tooth. My original teeth got quite worn down some years ago, and they're all like recaps and they drill up into them and to go on and all that, so I've broken one of them off, but it didn't take anything for it to happen. It was just, must have been on its way anyway, or cracked or something. So I've kept the piece. We'll have a look next week at what we do, whether we go to the dentist or whether I just super glue the bloody thing in. The last time it come off, I super glued it in for ages because I just thought, oh, these bloody dentists. And even though you have health care or medical cover here in Australia, like the medical care costs you, it's like an insurance, it's health insurance, and it's, for a couple around our age, late 50s, 60s, like Jude and myself, with a reasonable amount of cover, you're still paying around $6,000 a year. And but with that, the bit that pisses you off a bit is when you go to the dentist, it'll only cover so much of the bill. So last time, it was $3,000 or $4,000 in my mouth here, and we still had to fork out, even with insurance, we had to fork out $2,500. So yeah, I'll just see which way we go. We might just pop back in with super glue gel for a little bit until I feel like going anyway. So it's no big deal. There's my phone ringing, so hang on a sec. I'll go and grab that. Yeah, look, that was Pomona Rick. I told him, he says, "You're not filming, eh?" I said, "Right in the bloody middle of it." So, so anyway, we had a yarn. And now we're back again, but I got no idea what I was talking about before then. But I think, yeah, Tim's party, that was just bloody great fun. 25, 30, 25, yeah, somewhere around there people, and we all spread out and we did our socially distanced thing probably. But yeah, look, it was a great weekend. Good to catch up with everyone. I'm just checking on my monitor here. Before I had the microphone on, I didn't have it on properly, so I'm just having a little sneaky peek over there. It's sitting on the front of the tractor, it's just out of the frame there. You can't see it, so yeah. So yeah, great time, great weekend. We had the kids on the motorbikes yesterday morning, and we got them going nice and early, running around the paddock and driving Goldie. Took them for a ride on Goldie and things like that. So I think Ben, one of the young fella's mates, his little girl had her first ride on a motorbike yesterday. So he was pretty keen. He's always been keen to go and get one. So now I don't think his missus be holding him back. He was all excited. The little girl loved it, and so he was looking excited about getting a motorbike. But anyway, on the way home, he's telling me he got pinged for speeding. So his mum's Margaret, she messaged Judy and said, "Oh, Ben got caught for speeding on the way home." So he must have been naughty and bloody snuck it up there a bit. But they had about 2.5 hours drive, 3 hours, 2.5 probably hours drive, and so yeah, the weekend was a tad more expensive. Tim's other mates, that's Ben's brother from out in Mergen, they gave Tim a 1 litre bottle of Bundy Bear rum, and they welded it into a cage. So that's his emergency bottle. He's only allowed to have it in an emergency, and to get into it, he's actually got to get the grinder out with a 1 mil cutting disc to get to his rum. And so, no, it's a bit of a laugh. It was just a good thing. I was still a bit croaky in the voice. Last week, I had a bit of a cold sort of happening, not the corona thing, but the young fella Tim, he works for Endeavour as a disability carer, and he started getting a little dry throat. So every day when they go to work, they've got to fill out a check sheet. So he ticked that he had a little dry throat and he has to give it to his supervisor. So they said, "No, COVID test." So he was out of there and had to have a COVID test. Then he wasn't allowed to go anywhere until that cleared, which it did. And so anyway, on Friday, he was all cleared and he went back and they said, "Have you still got that cough at all?" He says, "Yeah, I filled it out. Yeah, I have." And they said, "Well, we don't want to see you." So whenever you've got any sign of this sore throat, this whatever's going on around, a little bit of a thing we seem to be sharing, no work. So he's he can have, like, they've got a sickness policy thing where they I don't think it's, I'm not sure how, but he's getting paid for his normal hours that he would do sick. But they said, "Look, even though it's not COVID, it's nothing to do with it, we don't want you here." So, and last week I was early in the week I was very hoarse in the throat, like my voice wasn't real flash. It's probably not right back up to standard yet, but I've still got a bit of a bit croaky down the neck, and so I had a couple of days off work last week myself. I thought, well, didn't have the COVID, but yeah, I just thought going to work and sharing it around is just a stupid idea. So the business is set up now that I could stay home and fiddle along. So I've got my computer at home and I set everything up, and I did the emails and I did the YouTube and I did all the YouTube messages and eBay messages and all that sort of thing. And I got the little governor knuckles. I got them out of Sparex, and I've made up a couple of rods, but I had this little bit of 1/4-inch bar there, and I don't know where I got it or how long I've had it, but I had a little bit of surface rust on it. But I thought, that polishes off with a bit of emery. And but anyway, my guts are rumbling this morning. Must need a good feed. And whatever this stuff was, it was claggy shit. I'd chuck it up, and I wasn't single pointing it because I thought, oh, yeah, the flex there, I'd just run the dies down, and I had brand new die and all that, and it'll just pull out. And yeah, you know, it doesn't matter how carefully you went back and forth, it'll just pull out. And or you'd have like 6 or 8 good threads, and then you'd have a couple that are just, if the die hadn't cleared properly, it'd just tear the other threads out. So it was just shit metal, I thought. But then I found another piece of bar that was only long enough to make 2 out of. Well, it was beautiful. The threads are lovely. And so that way I thought, oh, bugger this. So I went down to the bolt place in town here, and I bought a box of bolts. They're quarter, I think they were 1/4 inch, not 6 mil, because we have to make 1/4 one end, 6 the other. So so I've bought the proper bolts now, and I've still got to, you know, cut the heads off, part the heads off, and run threads and all that. But half of the threads started. It's a nice bolt. You can thread it easily and all that. So it'll make it a bit shorter of a job to make them, and it'll probably be easier to run the threads up these bolts. So, but yeah, just this first bit of stuff I cut it into about 10 different sections, and oh, it was just terrible to run a die nut down. So, so I've made some. I've got a couple sitting at the shop. We haven't priced them up yet. I was going to get them on last week, but stuff happened, and yeah, by the time Honey went to work a couple of days, and I was working at home, but went to work a couple of days and fiddled around, and actually, yeah, the first day I stayed home Tuesday and Wednesday, and yeah, the first day I had a bit of a camp halfway through the day because I was wearing out, feeling shit with the wog. So I haven't been to do any of my blood tests or anything like that. I thought, oh, if you've got a bit of a wog, just stay at home, you know. And my job at work, I don't have to go to the counter much. I stay upstairs, and I don't have anything to do with the public normally, unless they say, can you come down and have a talk to Harry? But we've got the counter, and then we've asked the customers to step back a bit. Then we've got 5 foot, and then there's another set of toolboxes. So I just lean against the toolboxes, so I'm 10 feet away from everyone, and that's a good thing. But yeah, at the party on Saturday night, yeah, we sort of kept clear, and I made sure I was a distance away from everyone all the time, and most people did, you know, and we had it arranged so the couples could sit in their chairs next to each other near the fire, and yeah, look, it was just no trouble because we got plenty of room. So even the oldies, we had the oldies separate to the young ones, and yeah, in the pool room there with the fireplace on and all that. Well, yeah, they were all spaced out, and they had a good yarn and a nice environment for them. So, except our music was too loud. So, the oldies, we got a 65-inch TV, screen TV up at the back in the pool room, and we were streaming music out through there. And yeah, the oldies were finding it too noisy. So, Mum, she hopped up. Oh, that's too noisy. So I said, well, turn it off. So, so she turned that off, and we went and got the little boom box thing and put out the other side. And the young ones put their music on there. So, but it's funny with the music. My young bloke, he's a townie now. You know, we lived in the city here for quite a few years. But where we used to live in Mergen, you know, our friends there, the young ones out there like country, and you know, modern country and all that. Yet the fellas here like headbang and stuff. And yeah, Brendan, the neighbour's lad, I invited him over, and yeah, he's saying, oh, this is good music, Tim, bit of headbang and stuff, and when they weren't looking, the country blokes put a bit of modern country on it. All us oldies thought that was all right. So, yeah, just where you grow up, obviously changes things like that. So, yeah, just interesting. I'm over near the 2030 here. It's Monday morning, and look, it must be 8 o'clock by now, 8:30, something like that. Now, Pomona, I've had my yarn to Rick, and so today. My plan for today, I have a couple of plans. One was to lay under the little TE20 here and pop the oil pump in and the sump on. And once the sump's on and I can bolt the front end back together properly, well, I can put the radiator on. But I want to do a coolant pressure test I was thinking of putting the radiator on and doing the coolant pressure test, but with it wobbling a bit, there's a chance of, it might kick forward one way under the fan or something. So I think what I'll do is I'll pop the sump on, I'll leave the screen off, and we'll pressure test the radiator or the whole cooling system on the tractor. We'll pressure test that, and if there's any little drips or anything come out, well, we know we have a problem. The line has moved, or the head gasket hasn't sealed, or something like that. But I don't expect any of that, but I'm just going to show that just so people are aware that you can certainly do that. You don't have to put the whole tractor together and run it up and then find you have a problem and fill all the oil galleries with water. From the oil pump pumping it around, you can just pressure test it before you even start it. So, today's plan is to try and get the oil pump up and get that bottom end tucked away. I've got a new carby on, I've got to plumb that up yet. But the TE20, I've got enough parts to keep going with that, no worries at all. But my thought is, now I've done the mowing, I've got the place tidy, I've got a couple of months up my sleeve, I want to get this old girl opened, and if I have to order any parts, which I will have to do, I can pop back onto the TE20 while I'm waiting on parts for the 2030 here. A couple of things with the 2030, we can use the Sparex splitting stands under it, no worries at all. But I do have a special set of John Deere ones that I made for the 1640, which just bolt up and do a nice job. So I'm thinking I'll probably use the John Deere ones that I made on the John Deere, and when we get across to the Ford 4600 and get that front axle out and that, well, we'll have the Sparex stands set up under that, just to show how it assembles and all that sort of thing. With the Sparex stands, when you put it under a tractor, you have to wedge your front axle, which is a good idea anyway, but you wedge your front axle. But with the stands I made that bolt onto the T20, bolt onto the 2030 here, because of the nature of them and how wide a footprint they have, the tractor won't rock anyway on the front axle here. So you can still wedge it, there's no problem wedging it, but I made them so that they just run out nice and straight, and it supports the front end evenly. So today, most of the filming today, I probably won't film popping the oil pump up into the TE20 and putting the sump on. Like you saw me take it off, so you just put those bolts back in again. But I do want to run step by step through splitting the 2030. There's a couple little knick-knacky things to do, so we'll do that. So, but look, that's it. There's no use doing a walk around. I've done that last week. Nothing's changed. I've cleaned up after the party. Look, it was a great weekend. I have friends Jody and Dave coming up at the end of the month, so we'll have a bit more party time then. I like partying, in case you never knew, and I'm good at it. It's good to find your niche, isn't it? And then I'm 60 mid-October, but the start of October I have a niece's wedding down at back of the Gold Coast there, so we're going to go down and stay at that O'Reilly's resort, the Rainforest Resort, stay there for a few days, Jude and myself, and have a bit of time off there. So yeah, we've got a few knickknacks coming up. Middle of October I'm 60, so I don't know what we're doing there. I said to Jude, perhaps we just have another barbie, have a party here, and she says, we could go somewhere. So I think she's thinking too much work, but we'll see. We'll just see what happens there. So, but anyway, look, there's no machining or anything. It's just a quick chat this weekend. I'm a bit keen to have less chat here and put more time into here today. So we'll see how that goes. So look, thanks for dropping by once again, everyone. Have a good week, and we'll catch up again in a week's time. See you then.